first impressions and introductions really matter a lot. And aside from maybe courting you with some great word of mouth or maybe a trailer, a game's first chance to really pull you into its world is its title screen. Pretty much every game out there has a title screen, or at least I think so. And they all serve the same base purpose, to bridge the gap between the world of the player and the world of the game. It's a really great opportunity for the game to set the tone, whether that's through music or atmosphere or even the presentation of the title screen itself. Take for example The Last of Us Part 2's title screen. This title screen shows a single small boat tied to a post. It's floating on some really choppy waters and there's storm clouds in the sky and the ocean goes out as far as we can see. And I really love this title screen a lot, not just because this moored boat is relevant to the story and some of its themes, but the sense of dread and impending doom that this title screen gives off is palpable, especially when you contrast it with the title screen for The Last of Us Part 1, which is also a fantastic title screen, by the way. This title screen for the first game shows the sun and wind flowing through the windows of an open, overgrown house. And it really speaks to the contrast between these two games and gives off the idea that Part 2 is a generally darker, grueling, and more depressing experience, which is certainly saying something. Both of these title screens are also incredibly minimalistic and atmospheric, which is very representative of these games, which, when you're not, in combat and stuff, it's very atmospheric and quiet at times. On the other hand, though, we have Hi-Fi Rush. It's big and loud and colorful. There's almost too much going on. And these descriptors don't just fit the title screen for Hi-Fi Rush. These are true for the entire game itself. These three title screens all give you a perfect snapshot of the kind of experience that you're getting yourself into. And I think that makes these great title screens. Now, these are just a few examples of what I think are really great title screens that I hope convey what I'm looking for in a great title screen. I think that what separates passable from great is the kind of information that a title screen can convey to the player. And if it's done right, it can really set the tone and start to immerse the player into a game. Now, these title screens are not exhaustive. I've got quite a lot that I really like, and really this video is really just an excuse to talk about some of my favorite title screens. So if you'll come with me, I'm going to lightning around these bad boys, and then I've got a small announcement at the end of this video, and then we're done. Now, I will say that I'm only talking about title screens for games that I have personally played myself. So if you get to the end of the video and you didn't see your favorite title screen, I either didn't play the game, or I did play the game and I didn't care much for the title screen. So that is your excuse to then go down into the comments and write however much you want about your favorite title screen. The floor is yours, just go for it. Cool? Cool. Alright, first up is the title screen for Outer Wilds. I absolutely adore this title screen, even the production logos are fantastic. The music swells in, and is that a banjo in my space exploration game that I hear? When that beautiful main theme melody finally kicks in, a campfire illuminates a planet with a spaceship on it surrounded by pine trees, which just really firmly establishes this whole space exploration camping trip vibe that Outer Wilds has. It's a really specific vibe, but I really love it a lot. It's something really special, and I haven't seen it in any other game or piece of media since, really. It feels kind of cozy and wide-eyed and also a little bit lonely at the same time. Now, this video is not, nor will I let it become, a stealth video essay about Outer Wilds, Matthew. But I will say that this title screen is really emblematic of the entire game, both aesthetically and emotionally. And another touch that I really love is that if you watch this title screen for long enough, the logo of the game will break apart and start to float off into space. See, Outer Wilds is, among other things, a game about time and how we use it. And I think that adding this little touch is really emblematic of that theme and kind of sets the stage for the journey that you're about to go on. God, I wish I could play Outer Wilds again. Anyway, speaking of fantastic music, we've got Kingdom Hearts. Now, I will admit that I'm not the biggest fan of Kingdom Hearts. I've played through the entire of the first game, and I've played through several chapters of the second game, and I enjoyed it, but not enough to keep playing. Now, this is a pretty basic title screen. The art of Sora is nice, but it's mostly just a white background, and it's calming, but the saving grace here is the music. Yoko Shimomura is one of my favorite composers in games, and Dearly Beloved is one of her best works. It is a beautiful and calming piece of work with just enough moodiness and edge to keep things interesting and really set the tone for what Kingdom Hearts has to offer you. And it's so good that it elevates Kingdom Hearts title screens into the upper ranks, at least for me. Shadow of the Colossus is another incredibly atmospheric title screen. It actually starts off with a small cutscene depicting our player character headed on horseback towards a large structure through a mysterious land. It's set to some really wispy ambient music, but once we finally reach the Forbidden Land and start to cross the bridge headed towards this fortress, we cut to our title screen. It is very bright and a very PlayStation 2 move. But it is a very minimalistic title screen, but it depicts the bridge that our character was just on and the fortress, but zoomed way out from a great distance. It really shows the incredible scale of this world that we're in and also highlights just how empty and lonely it is, and how small our character is as well. It really just serves to create the atmosphere and set the tone and kind of establish how small we are in the world and kind of give a sense of the gravity of why we're here, which you'll come to understand as you get further along in the game. Really great stuff. Okay, well, Shadow of the Colossus is kind of a dark game, so let's pivot to something a little less bleak. I don't see enough love for Animal Crossing title screens. They're all really nice, honestly, and they followed the same idea. It's the logo of the game over a gameplay feed that shows one of your villagers going about their day in real time, with some really nice music to boot. This already pretty firmly establishes the tone of Animal Crossing. It's light and fun and relaxed, and the music adds a kind of bittersweet tinge to it a little bit that keeps it all from just being too much. But what I really appreciate is that it really does a great job of giving you, as the player, a little teaser as to what's going on in your town. See, a big part of the appeal of Animal Crossing is that things are happening in the world, even if you're not around to see it. And giving the gameplay camera a focus on the villager as they go around their day kind of gives you a little preview as to what's going on in your town. It does a great job of getting you settled in and excited to get in and play and see what's happening in your world, and it really helps to further the idea that things are happening in Animal Crossing even if you're not there to see it. Alright, next up we've got Halo Combat Evolved. Come on, what's next? Zelda is a big boss key holding chest full of fantastic title screens. I could probably do a whole video on just Zelda title screens. And I know the popular choice would be to say the Ocarina of Time, but my first Zelda was Wind Waker, so I'm going to talk about that one. This title screen gives me serotonin every time I look at it. It's so good. Just the shot of the sun and then it panning down to Outset Island, and the title screen fades in with the music. It's one of my favorite themes for any Zelda game too. It's just so fantastic, and getting those beautiful wide sweeping shots of Outset Island, it really just sets the scale of the world that you're about to explore. You don't even really realize how big it is at the start of the game until you really get into it. It just gives you a little bit of a teaser for the adventure that you're about to go on, and I really love that. I also do want to shout out literally any of the other 3D Zelda title screens, especially. I could have done this about any of them. I was going to talk about Ocarina of Time, but it's fine. Real quick, while we're on Zelda, I do need to talk about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, because they both go for a pretty bold move that I don't see very often. Now, most games, after the title screen, will take you to a main menu where you can mess with settings and do whatever else you have to do, and start the game on your own accord. But if you start Breath of the Wild for the first time on a fresh profile, this is what happens.
Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Wake up, Link.
So, the game kind of just starts, and I love that. Tears of the Kingdom, the sequel, also does the exact same thing. I just think it's a really dramatic way to start the game, especially for games that are as highly anticipated as these two were. It also creates this kind of sense of gravitas, or at least in my opinion, and it also sets them up to do some fun stuff with delayed gratification by doing what I call a late title card drop. But that's another video. Maybe consider subscribing so that way you know when it comes out. Or don't, I don't know, you don't have to listen to me. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's actual title menus, by the way, are not all that special. I think they're pretty boring, actually. But title screens are all about making a first impression on the player, and skipping straight past them and getting right into it the first time you start the game is a heck of a first impression, and I thought that was worth shouting out. All right, you made it. Last one. Congratulations. All right, we've got... I'll just play it. This might be my favorite title screen ever. It's impressive how cinematic this title screen for Super Metroid is, despite coming out way before games would become cinematic in the modern sense that we know them today. The camera movements, if you can really call them that, slowly revealing what's going on in this scene, the cuts to black with those title cards, Nintendo presents Metroid 3. The Metroid itself chirping over top of this ominous, dark, and pulsating synth score, and the way it crescendos into that main Metroid theme, and we get that iconic shot of the Metroid in captivity surrounded by the dead scientists, like...
Sorry, it's okay.
Don't get me wrong, they are absolutely wearing the alien influences on their sleeve. But I think that Super Metroid stands on its own as an absolutely phenomenal title screen. It's so thoughtfully and carefully put together, and it perfectly sets the stage for what this game is. Super Metroid is dark and scary. It's got bursts of action and horror, and yet it's dripping with atmosphere and mystery like almost no other game before or since. And it establishes all of that with like a 30-second cutscene. I think that this isn't just one of my favorite title screens. I think it's maybe one of the best ever. Full stop. I feel like all of these title screens in some way kind of reflect what I'm talking about here. When a title screen can firmly establish the tone from the get-go, whether that's through music or art or style or presentation or atmosphere, it can really do a lot to immerse the player in the world of the game from the first time they boot it up. And when a game can pull that immersion off that early, I think that's what separates the great title screens from the rest. Now again, if I didn't talk about your favorite title screen, please go down into the comments and write about your favorite and start some conversation, be cool to one another, and I would love to read some of your thoughts on some of your favorite title screens that maybe I'm not aware of. And before you go, I did mention a small announcement, and that's that I have a second channel now. It's called Matthew.mp3, and I'll be posting some stuff over there that's kind of a little more loose that doesn't really fit on this channel. Right now, there's actually a What I Played in April video going up right now, and it's just a little journal of what I've played in the month of April. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's inspired a lot by Karsten Rundquist and Rasputin, and on my backlogged video that I posted a little bit ago, some people expressed interest in seeing something like this, so here you go. go check that out if you want. Before you go, be sure to subscribe here to my main channel where I'll be posting more video essay stuff, kind of like the video that you just watched. I'll also be posting that late title card drop video that I mentioned a few minutes ago. I am actually working on that. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like as well. That helps me to know that you want to see more like this and helps guide the stuff that I make. With that, my name is Matthew.Wave. Thank you for watching.